uh, with our strategic partner, Micro Focus. Micro Focus is one of the leading partners helping customers globally in the digital transformation journey. And we're happy to have them today. And I am Mohan. I head the digital business within Conneqt Digital, part of Quest Group. And I have my esteemed colleagues from Conneqt and also my colleagues from Micro Focus today. I'll briefly talk to you about the agenda for this webinar and then hand over to the experts to take us through the session today, talk about the quality evolution and the imperatives in today's digital world with all of you engaged in some shape or form in your digital transformation journey. So today we will kick off this webinar. I'll talk to you a little bit about our defining partnership with Micro Focus and a little bit about Conneqt as an organization helping customers in the IT services industry, working with our customers in the digital transformation roadmap. And then we will have our digital assurance head, Sujatha, who will talk to you about digital assurance in the digital transformation journey and how we are helping our customers in this whole journey in ensuring quality, ensuring faster time to market, ensuring lowest cost and highest efficiencies. And then we will have Manish Gupta, who is a director of business consulting from Micro Focus, focusing on this geography to talk about application delivery management platform, which is one of the key solutions from Micro Focus for customers globally, including some of our large enterprise customers in India. He'll take you through the session of how the platform is helping customers in ensuring fast to market, speed to market, delivery assurance, and also bringing the efficiency required in the digital transformation journey. Towards the end, for 15 minutes, we'll open up for question and answers. I'll request all the participants here to feel free, log in their questions in the chat window, and we'll be happy to bring it to the panel here and hear them to share their experience, how we have been doing this for some of our customers. And hopefully this will be a very productive discussion today. It's for 1.5 hours. And we'll be very keen to speak to each of you from the customer team who have joined us today in terms of your takeaways from the webinar today, and also any specifics you might be looking to have further conversations with both Micro Focus and us at Conneqt. We'll be very happy to do that. So before I hand over to Sujatha, I would like to spend a few minutes to talk to you about Conneqt Digital for some of you who are hearing us for the first time. Maybe Sujatha, if we can move to the next slide. So Conneqt Digital is one of the largest digital IT BPM provider in India today, and with exclusive focus on the India market, right? We have more than 150 enterprise customers with 50% of the portfolio in the banking, NBFCs, insurance segment, and also in auto manufacturing, healthcare, and other verticals, including e-commerce, retail e-commerce, working with some of the new age companies. So we have a wide gamut of customers we are serving in the market today. We have more than 35,000 employees working with our customers across engagements and working out of more than 24 service delivery locations in India. That includes tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities in India. And in the process of our BPM services, we have huge touch point with your end customers, right? Whether it is in the banking space, whether it is in the e-commerce space, whether it is in the manufacturing, B2B or B2C, we touch nearly 500 million customers, right? And handle more than 100 million transactions of your customers every day, right? And with our collections business, which is one of the largest business segment, with more than 10,000 plus feet on the street, which is one of the largest in India, we really cover 95% of India's pin codes, right? That's cutting across the country. We have a presence across all the districts, towns, cities, So a wide presence, and the most endearing of all is the customers we have been serving. We have been serving them for more than 15 years since we started our business in 2004. So a long association, and a lot of our business comes from our existing customers. That's a great testament to the quality of delivery and the customer satisfaction we are able to deliver to our customers, right? In terms of some of the numbers, you will see that we are serving some of the top private banks. 10 out of the 10 private sector banks are our customers. The top 3 of the 5 public sector banks are our customers, and top 3 of the license life insurance companies are our customers, right? Similarly, 6 out of the 10 NBFCs are also our customers, and all the major new age companies, the e-commerce platform providers, many of them are also our customers. So we have a strong portfolio of enterprise leaders in their respective segment being our customers for a long time. So something to our credentials, just to move on. So just to restate the purpose statement. So many of you who are our customers, you know us really well. And one of the reasons why we are partnering and having strategic partnerships with some of these large global OEMs like Micro Focus is essentially to see how we can bring in the combined value of a system integrator and a product partner, whether it is helping our customers with their digital transformation to help them grow their revenues, or help in delivering efficiencies in their entire transformation journey, and also ensuring that they're able to deliver the customer-first customer experience, the highest level of customer experience. All the endeavors of digital transformation is to ensure that we give and enhance the customer experience. And we are doing our best to partner with some of players like Micro Focus, who is a global leader, to deliver that kind of success in the journey for our customers. Right, so we work around any of these 3 themes in any of the engagements we have with our customers. So, with having said that, I will hand it over to Manish to talk a little bit about Micro Focus and how they are helping customers globally, and then we'll get into the sessions. Over to you, Manish.
Okay, thanks, Mohan. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your time today to join us. And again, as Mohan said, we are in a strategic partnership with Conneqt Digital. And as Micro Focus, we are in the market for more than 40 plus years. We've been in business. And may I request people to mute their line? So we are today addressing some of the top customers across different industries. And in terms of our revenues, we are a $3 billion company. And as a pure play software company, we are in the top 10 software companies globally as well. A little bit of history there. We were actually, most of the business of Micro Focus was actually part of Hewlett Packard. And Hewlett Packard had, reverse merged their software business with Micro Focus in 2017. And that's how we've grown as an entity. And today, 98 out of Fortune 100 customers are our customers. We have, and on the next slide, I will talk about our different product lines. But we have over 300 plus product lines, which are, well received across the different segments. And on this, let's I think build up this slide, Sujatha. If you look at our business, we are operating in 4 core or 4 major segments. The first one is acceleration of application delivery. So this is the line of business which we are going to talk about today, the product lines in the application delivery management space that help customers achieve this outcome of accelerating application delivery, but at the same time doing it with very high quality. The second area that we have in our business is IT operations. And this is about simplifying your IT transformation initiatives for operations. Every organization today wants their IT operations to be nimble. People have a mixed strategy with on-prem and cloud. So we are getting into that hybrid IT domain where managing the IT, keeping it efficient, making sure it is available, performing. So all the monitoring tools, service assurance, service management tools are part of this portfolio. The third major pillar for Micro Focus is the cyber resilience. And this is where we have solutions all the way from application security. We will talk a little bit about that in our presentation today with Fortify, but also we have solutions for security event management with ArcSight. We also have Novel, which is a IDAM solution. So they are part of our cyber resilience. And last but not the least, big data. I think today everybody wants to monetize data in their environment, and big data monetization is part of every company strategy. And for that, we have Vertica as a solution that helps you analyze your data in real time. So when we look at our portfolio, one of the things that we also want to mention is that not everything is about transformation. So in any organization, we want to bridge the gap between what is existing. So you have to keep the current operations running, keep the current lights on, but at the same time, you have to transform and prepare for what's emerging. So we call it run and transform at the same time. And this is what Micro Focus delivers as key outcomes for our customers as they service the current needs of their customers, but also bring about transformation and the new age solutions into their environment. So back to you, Sujatha.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manish. Thanks, Mohan. I am Sujatha. I really thank all of the participants who are present today and the customers who have logged in for this session. Right. So I'm leading the digital assurance practice for Conneqt. We are providing testing and the automation solutions to various industry verticals. And I have been in the industry for around close to 2 decades. Of which played various roles, and I have seen how the quality function itself has really transformed to what it is today, right? There are a lot of changes that I have witnessed so far. Now, before I talk about quality evolution, right, I would like to touch upon the digital and transformation piece a bit. All of us know what it is, but still for the ease of conversation, I would like to touch upon this for a few minutes, right? Now, digital transformation for business is that enabling the business operations, accessing the supportive digital network across the various devices that are present in the market, and also around the users and the customers as well as the business stakeholders. So to achieve the desired outcome that has been or the vision given for the company. So this is a quick definition of digital transformation as far as I view at it. Actually, digital transformation has really strengthened all the value of all the digital components in the complete ecosystem, right? So it has really made the way we work, the way the business operates, and the way we work in day-to-day life, right? In terms of adopting agile and DevOps methodologies, and also using all the devices that are present in the market. And there is a need for establishing end-to-end connectivity, leveraging all the devices that are present, IoT devices, so many devices that are there, and also leveraging the lot of live data that is present in the net, and at the same time leverage the low-cost storage options that are available in terms of cloud-based services, etc. So all these things are actually steering the industry to adopt AI/ML as well. Apart from this, right, most important thing is the customer is actually sitting at the center and driving all these changes and the digital transformation that we are witnessing today, right? And for the business organizations, achieving this customer experience is not actually very easy, right? So here we are talking about various segments of customers. It is not the same set of user interface that is applicable to all the segments of the customers. For a simple example, we are looking at customers who are millennials and the middle-aged people who want it in a different way, and also differently abled people who want to access the applications and systems. So achieving this customer experience is not as easy as we think, and we really have to our companies are most challenging aspect is this. In addition to this, there is a forced time to market today, right? So all the features have to be released as early as possible. Customer wants it yesterday, right? Otherwise they'll switch over to different vendors who can provide those kind of products and services. So these two, I place at the center. And if I look at it, the providing the cross-channel experience for the customers is also a challenging aspect, right? So there are various channels. The seamless experience have to be provided through the applications and services, right? So this is a big challenge for our enterprises to handle. In addition to that, there should not be any degradation in performance. If there is any dip in the performance of the transactions that the user does, automatically, customers will switch over to a different, vendor who can provide that kind of a service. And also another challenge that we see here is there is a whole lot of personal data and financial data that is, moving around, and ensuring the security of this data is again another challenge for the enterprises. And last but not the least, the legacy, right? In terms of people, processes, as well as the applications, technologies that are existing in current landscape, handling all this together at the same time, meeting the customer expectation is really a challenge for enterprises. And this is where more and more organizations are looking at strengthening the quality function, right? And also they are empowering the quality assurance teams to scale up, right? In terms of collaborating more with the application delivery teams or the the development teams, and work with the application owners, stakeholders, and support the UAT teams in terms of providing all the testing artifacts for them to reuse. And in addition to all this, also they are expecting the quality assurance team to collaborate with the operations team as well. So we will go to it, each of these things in my next few minutes. But net, if we look at it, QA function is really becoming more and more important in the digital transformation journey, right? So there's a saying, right? It is very easy to win customers, but retaining the customers is not as easy as we say, right? So to retain the customers, it is the only option is to provide quality products and services to our customers. And if there is any dip in that, it will directly impact the revenue and growth, right? So with the pressure to release the products into market, and with an inefficient quality assurance or ineffective quality assurance, we stand, or the organizations stand, at the risk of pushing the faulty products into the production, thereby impacting the customer confidence, which will directly impact the reputation of the business and the brand, right? Ultimately the brand. So QA is becoming more and more, to protect the brand value of an organization. And also they can no longer become a roadblock in terms of releasing the products, right? So that is where the really QA function has to complement with the application delivery teams to accelerate the digital transformation. So these are all, the expectations, the very high expectations. The role of QA is really, really humongous if you look at it, right? So they are becoming more the custodian of quality for all the applications and products that a company releases, right? So this is the change, the evolution that I have seen. And so in all, how I look at the today's function, we have to, I really have to talk about how we were doing yesterday, right? Or some years back, how the QA was functioning. So earlier, QA was more of a reactive function, wherein the focus was primarily to identify the defects that are present in the system and understand the stated requirements, right? Whatever is there, and follow the requirements, test the system, and release the applications to the UAT and production. But the same kind of approach, right, will no longer be applicable. So apart from this, automation was only looked at, more from regression perspective, right? Automating the test cases only after the application functionality is stable, right? So, and performance again was an afterthought. After completing the functional tests and automation, the performance testing would begin. So this is how the earlier, or I call conventional or traditional practices that were followed earlier, and they were entering only late in the entire application development life cycle. But all this has changed continuously, and there is a need for establishing continuous quality, right? Build quality right from the beginning, right from the product is built, ingrain quality into the applications and products that are built, and hence continuous quality has become a very, very important thing here. And the way the quality assurance function has evolved, there are quite a lot of frameworks, right, that have been developed, and processes in terms of methodologies. Lot of things have changed. If you look at it, shift left and shift right methodology is the most followed methodology today in digital transformation initiatives. Now, shift left has been around for quite some time. I've seen this for around 8 years, close to 8 years. Now, in shift left, what we do is the QA team gets involved right from the requirements phase, contribute in, validating the requirements in terms of identifying the ambiguities present, and also look at where we can prevent the defects to flow from requirements phase to the next phases in the application delivery life cycle, right? So, and the focus is also on, bringing the performance testing earlier, look at the whole system as a whole, and see where, they can contribute in terms of the design itself. So a kind of validating the design with respect to performance testing. So QA team contributes in the requirements phase, the design phase, and there is something called parallel execution, right? So while the development starts, the automation framework development and the script development also parallelly start, and the performance testing framework, scripting, all these are parallelly getting started along with the development, with a view so that even development team can leverage the automation scripts while they are developing the systems. In fact, BDD and TDD approach, right, even before the applications are developed, we can write the test scripts and test cases that can be executed, even if the applications are not present. So these are all the kind of changes, that have happened over a period of time, and also model-based testing and scriptless automation, right? This is more like supporting the digital transformation in terms of validating the requirements, and the business stakeholders themselves or application stakeholders can make use of the automation scripts without having the knowledge of the automation, right? And they can execute the scripts with their own data. So these are all the aspects that were followed in shift left. It will continue to be followed in in today's world also. There are a lot of values that we have seen by following this shift left methodology. Now, another new, the latest trend here is shift right, right? This is more towards validating the customer experience. Our focus is more on the ensuring customer experience part of it, right? So here what the focus is, most of the companies are already following, testing the production system itself. Till today, we were not looking at testing on the production. So this is something that I'm really seeing more and more companies are focusing on, testing the production systems. Now, in some of the places, everywhere we will not be able to test the production system. In those cases, there are other techniques that are followed, right? So here is where the testing team or the assurance team that has to collaborate with the operations team to get the production data, look at what the customer customer wants in terms of user behavior, user journey, and also in terms of taking the customer feedbacks on the latest releases, the previous releases, and also focus on the areas where their performance testing needs to be done. So all this can be extracted from the production data through predictive analytics mechanism. So the QA team has to know the skills of how to get all this data from the production systems, incident management systems, etc., and feed in this information into the test strategies and test plans that will take that will happen in the next cycle of the release, right? So these are all lot of changes that I have seen in terms of providing continuous quality, and embed quality into the application itself. So a kind
Hey, Sujatha, you're not audible. Mohan?
Yeah, Manish, I think
You can hear me, right?
yes, we are able to hear you well.
Okay.
Looks there is an issue with Sujatha's network. So
No
Manish,
worries.
you may want
I think we are at
to
a
take it forward.
Yeah, I think we are at a point where we can talk about the solutions.
Yes.
Okay, let me, I think
Sujatha,
Sujatha,
we
you're back?
lost you in between. Do you want to conclude and hand it to Manish?
You're on mute.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. So, so this aspect I just want Manish will walk us through as to how AI-powered automation will help in managing the automation scripts in a very, very efficient way, right? Now, another thing that I would like to talk about here is the way
Your screen is not shared, Sujatha. Do you want to talk to your slides or?
Yes. I don't know. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so sorry about it. I don't know, there was some network issues. Yeah. And in terms of, there is a real need for having the unified automation frameworks in today's scenario. Reason being, all the digital transformation, right? The initiatives in this, right? The UI layer is really, volatile, right? It keeps changing continuously. So in the existing or the conventional automation way, right? It is all UI driven automation approach that we followed earlier, but that is no longer applicable, right? We really have to decouple the UI layer, business logic layer, and the database layer, underlying database layer. So to have a unified framework, create separately, only then we'll be able to manage the automation scripts. Otherwise, it becomes obsolete, right? So these are all the changes that I have seen in today's scenario, aligning to the digital transformation initiatives. Apart from that, to optimize the cost, we are looking at cloud-based services in terms of doing performance testing, cross-browser testing, right? Mobile device testing, and the regression testing. So all these areas, we can leverage cloud-based services to optimize the costs also, right? So it's a total single platform that we look at to match up to all our requirements. So that is where today we see Micro Focus Tools has all the tools that is required in the landscape, where we can test efficiently and effectively, and the size and scale that is required for today's quality assurance, right? And if we look at it in terms of benefits, I just would like to quote here. In one of the engagements, we were able to test 10 times more with the right set of tools and then QA approach. and then frameworks. That's a big number, and we are continuously improving on that, right? So by eliminating waste and through automation and right set of frameworks, we will be able to optimize efforts up to 50%. And also automation will help us in accelerating the time and meet the time to market requirement that we have in front of us today. And with the continuous quality shift left and shift right approaches, we have seen in most of the engagements, we have not had any 7 defects in production, right? So we are able to achieve quality within the timeline, at the same time, optimizing the costs also, right? So up to 20 to 30%, we were able to save costs, because we were able to catch the defects early in the life cycle and leverage automation to the highest extent possible through all the frameworks that we have. And the kind of benefits is really significant, and the QA team also really has scaled up a lot more in today's scenario. So that's the kind of evolution that I have seen in QA world. And with the combination of for QA, domain is very, very important. The combination of domain expertise and the quality assurance expertise, plus the right set of application platform, right? The testing platform, we will be able to achieve the desired outcomes as far as quality assurance is concerned. So with this, I would like to pass on to Manish for demonstrating how Micro Focus set of platform helps us in quality assurance. Yeah, over to you, Manish.
Okay, thank you, Sujatha. And I'm going to start sharing my screen. So just bear with me for a moment. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So once again, good morning, everybody. So in this segment of this webinar, I'm going to talk about the solutions that empower the digital assurance framework from Conneqt Digital. And as I mentioned earlier, the core outcome that we want to achieve here is acceleration of application delivery with high quality. I think these two have not gone hand in hand very well in the past, where if people tried to increase the speed of delivery, a lot of compromises were made on the quality side. But what we have realized with digital transformation, I think end user experience and quality have become very, very important to succeed in the digital world, and hence this need to balance speed with quality. And that's where the quality evolution is required. But I want to start off with this quote from Gartner that for digital businesses, one of their key differentiators really is that how they exploit quality. So if there are, say 10 vendors in the market for a particular service, the one that's better in quality, better user experience, better performing, I think we all relate from personal experience that we are tempted to choose the application or the mobile app or that digital platform which gives us a better experience. So application leaders who are embarking on these digital transformation initiatives must evolve their quality, must make continuous quality a foundation of their digital transformation strategy. And to that end, we have these 4 pillars of quality that we are going to talk about today. So the first one is continuous quality management. Now, managing the quality throughout the life cycle of the application itself is a challenge. What customers aspire for there is to be able to gain real-time insights into the health and risk associated with the releases of these applications. So being able to manage the entire life cycle, have traceability between the assets, and then have the visibility to the key metrics that matter is what a continuous quality management framework has to enable. And we'll talk about ALM Octane in that context. The second pillar is really automation of your functional testing. This has to cater to end-to-end test automation, API testing, mobile testing, even legacy applications that you are testing in your environment, even they have to be automated. So in this context, we are going to talk about the UFT family, and how artificial intelligence in particular is bringing a big change or transformation in the automation paradigm. The third pillar is performance engineering or performance testing, which is about today leveraging the cloud, leveraging shift left and DevOps practices to engineer performance into the life cycle. And similarly, for the non-functional testing around security, security testing also needs to be adopted early in the life cycle, has to shift left, work with your CI/CD tool chains, and that's where I'm going to talk about the 45 family. So let's deep dive into each of these areas, picking up the first one, which is continuous quality. Here, I want to talk about how quality needs to be embedded across the entire software lifecycle. Today, we are looking at the software lifecycle as a value stream. There is this already a practice called value stream management or a concept called value stream management that is becoming popular because end of all digital initiatives, the outcome is going to be some value delivered to business. And given that this, we have so many initiatives in organizations today, optimization of your value streams, your pipelines has become an important aspect. And quality is something that will optimize these pipelines or value streams in a very effective manner. Now, there are six key tenets to embedding quality in the software lifecycle, or something that we can relate to as continuous quality management. One is to unify all the testing efforts, be it manual testing, be it end user testing, acceptance testing, be it automated testing. All that needs to be managed in one single platform so that you can derive the right metrics. The second one is establishing traceability across the value stream. So right from when the requirements are defined to you taking it as part of the backlog and then assigning it to sprints and releases, and then finally, progressing through the different stages of checks and quality, including user acceptance testing. You need to be able to tie these different assets like requirement, backlog, defect, test run, code commit, pipeline build number, etc. So all these assets need to be traced to each other to make better sense of this data. Thirdly, we want to automate and automate effectively, which is scaling up automation. Today, I think the percentage of automated test cases is still quite low in many enterprises. And to effectively scale automation, we want to apply artificial intelligence, but we also want to manage automation as part of a robust framework for quality management, which is what ALM Octane provides. Then on the right side, we talk about embedding quality in the overall release process, defining your different release gates and stages and quality gates. Collaboration is a very important aspect for different stakeholders, right from business who's defining the requirements to the business analyst to the developers and testers and QA and even UAT testers, all the way to end users. In fact, sometimes you need a very collaborative effort in the software delivery lifecycle, which is what ALM Octane provides. And finally, it should provide you the metrics, the KPIs that not only give you the visibility, but also the analytics to help you do continuous improvement. So once again, a few words on each of these six areas. When we talk about unifying the testing efforts, we want to look at all kinds of testing effort that goes on in an enterprise, right from manual testing. If you're adopting BDD, then managing your BDD scenarios, your test suites, which are groupings of test cases, or automated test cases, which could be in any tool, any framework. Basically, managing all of them in a single platform makes your quality practice more consistent. It also covers all aspects of testing, from unit testing to integration to acceptance testing, security and performance testing. All those can be consolidated and you can get a view in a single platform with respect to the KPIs that you want to measure. It also brings about a lot of efficiency. Almost 30 to 40% improvements can be achieved in your testing process efficiency by just reusing test cases across different cycles of testing, different stages of testing. And then we have this concept of application module in which application quality can be organized. Here's an example of providing real-time visibility of quality and release metrics. So for example, I'm looking at a heat map of the different modules of my application. Now, these are logical groupings. So this built-in dashboard provides me a visual display of more than 45 plus KPIs that we have already defined out of the box, but you can define your own KPIs as well. In addition, you can look at things like what are the different tests that have been run, what is the status of those tests, whether they have passed or failed. What if I'm also linking it with my code commits through the source code management system? Then are there any risky commits to any particular module? How many defects are open? So this is just one example of a dashboard, but basically you can observe KPIs around all the lifecycle assets in the application lifecycle. You can even observe trends. You can identify bottlenecks, do correlations. And that smart analytics is what is going to get you to resolve problems faster, understand defects better in context. And finally, for your executives, you want to generate reports, PDF, Word documents. You can all generate reports out of the measurements that we are doing here, the data that we are getting, capturing around the quality and testing effort. I talked about traceability. This is an important aspect in the application lifecycle. So when we talk about the different assets like tests, features, epics, backlog items, defects, test runs, code commits, they can all be linked to each other. And that makes your mean time to resolution lower. So when you normalize data across different projects, you can gain an instant and unified view. So this ALM Octane platform that I've been talking about connects the dots for you so that you can bring about even more efficiency in your root cause analysis and resolution process. Even identifying sensitive areas of the code, especially that is risky in nature, can be identified faster with this traceability. The fourth aspect is about automation. Now, when we talk about automation, we make a lot of investments. I think everybody has aspirations to increase the automation coverage. But how do we manage that automation? I think today it is all running disconnected. Somebody is running it in some tool, then it is running in some CI/CD pipeline. Some developer is running it as part of the unit testing framework. Now, there is no real convergence to automation effort. And that's what makes it disconnected with the overall testing KPIs. But with ALM Octane, you can actually manage all your automation effort from the platform itself. It will integrate with all the popular CI/CD tools like Jenkins, TeamCity, Bamboo, Azure DevOps, you name it. And even all popular source code management tools like Git or GitHub, where you might be saving your automated test cases. So using this integrations with the leading source code management and CI/CD tool, you're able to build traceability all the way to the test assets, to the backlog items, to the automation tests, to the features that they are testing to. So you're actually getting that coverage information also around your automated tests. Not to mention, you're able to track the status of your tests directly in Octane so that you don't have to monitor the results elsewhere. So all the test results will also show up in Octane. And to add to it, am I even getting ROI? So here's a typical analytics that we provide around automation ROI, which can be measured around various parameters like development speed or QA efficiency, or are we even reducing the defect cost over the different releases? And based on that, we can actually assess if my automation is giving me the right results. Let's move on to the next aspect of ALM Octane, which is the collaboration aspect. Now, when we talk about quality, quality is not disconnected from the application lifecycle anymore. In the past, when we were, talking 10, 20 years back, we used to follow this waterfall methodology where testing was a different phase. So developers used to build the applications, and then we had to, test it thoroughly for a couple of months before it could be sent for bug fixing or into release. But that paradigm has changed. We're completely evolved from that. And now testing is a continuous process, as we have been talking about, which means that you have to work collaboratively with the business analysts, with the operations people, with the developers. So bringing all stakeholders on a common platform means that you need to have these workflows that can be tracked across the different personas and measure the work, track and update assigned work. So there is an area where you can do assignments, manage team level backlog, have these Kanban boards or task boards where you can actually manage the work in a graphical interface so that it becomes evident as to where work in progress might be increasing, and then you want to address it. So, lean principles, agile principles, if you want to apply those to the work, then we already have those inbuilt capabilities in ALM Octane. Icing on the cake, you can even integrate ALM Octane with a Microsoft Teams or Slack so that the collaboration can be further enhanced and people can have these conversations in context of the work items that they are building. So in a multi-vendor environment, you can customize these workflows. Again, an example here of a customizable workflow, an extension to the previous slide. So those are things that we care about when we want to evolve our quality practices, quality management practices. And that's where ALM Octane is that enterprise-grade platform. It's available in the cloud. You can do it on-prem as well. And it caters to the needs of all the stakeholders in the application lifecycle. I just wanted to mention on ALM Octane one more important aspect, that if you already use some agile tools like Jira in your environment, you can integrate ALM Octane with Jira and use ALM Octane quality management capabilities very, very synergistically with a tool like Jira. Now, moving on to the next topic, which is automation and functional testing automation, I want to talk about a few things before we get into the solution. And these are really the challenges that we have seen over the last 20 years or more, rather, that we have been serving the market for test automation. Rather, I would say in the late 90s is when XRunner came out, and then we had the WinRunner product, and QTP came out, and then we had UFT, and now we have UFT1 with UFT Mobile. So there is this product set has been evolving over the last 2 decades to cater to the needs. And in that process, serving thousands of customers, we have also seen the different challenges at the different stages or different eras that we have evolved over. So there is, of course, nowadays people perceive that test creation takes too long, and effective test design is something that is being addressed today in many organizations. So this is something that needs to be addressed for automation as well. But another very important area or a challenge is the skill set. Now, people a lot of times do not have the right skill sets in the organization, and our partners like Conneqt Digital bring in the desired skill set to cover this gap. Now, when we talk about automation, I already mentioned that the automation rates are still low, so we need to increase the test coverage. Right now, the test coverage that we have with automation is not sufficient. So how can we have better test coverage? Test maintenance is another area. I think this is one of the big areas that we've been trying to address over the last 3 years that I'm going to talk about in the subsequent slides with artificial intelligence. And the problem really is with the maintenance of your test scripts. Okay, and finally, the test execution can also be time consuming. You have to today test on multiple platforms. You might have to make the same test execute on an Android device, and then an iOS device, and then maybe on a tablet, and then on a Windows browser, and so on and so forth. So this whole execution process is also becoming more and more time consuming. So we are addressing all these challenges through our UFT or Unified Functional Testing family of solutions. What I'm mentioning here on the screen are 3 different solutions: the UFT1, UFT Developer, and UFT Mobile. And there is a 4th solution I wanted to introduce today, which we are going to launch within the next 10 days, which is a shift right solution, which is based on model-based testing. I'll give you a sneak peek later. But let's talk about addressing the challenges. So we talked about the maintenance problem. So artificial intelligence is really incorporating machine learning, computer vision, and natural language processing today to address that specific problem of being able to manage your test assets more efficiently. Basically, how do we reduce the maintenance effort? Also, we talked about in the challenges that you have to test on multiple platforms. So making platforms available is what UFT Mobile does as a solution for you. We'll talk about that as well. Then coming to the second row of capabilities, the shift left is what Sujatha also talked about, where we want to start testing early in the life cycle. Sometimes we want to empower developers to do automation. And that is what UFT developer does. So it is a shift left solution that will let the developers access the UFT capabilities from within their IDE so that they can start building test cases early in the life cycle. And then the shift right is really we want to empower the end users, the business users who are doing testing. We want to empower them by automation. And this is where natural language processing is important, which means the test script should be in plain, simple English, but behind the scenes, there is code. So low code, no code kind of automation. But also for shift right, there is this problem of test coverage that we talked about. And to get better, adequate test coverage, model-based testing approach is coming in. So we're going to talk about model-based testing in the context of shift right. And then it is very important today for all these solutions, be it UFT1, UFT developer, natural language, UFT mobile, all these have to work readily with your existing DevOps toolchain or CI/CD toolchains. So making them work better together, as well as with your existing CI/CD toolchain, is a fundamental principle of the UFT family of products. So let's review the AI capability. I think this is one of the most exciting capabilities in the automation world today. Think about this particular application where I have an application for buying, let's say, electronic items online. And the traditional automation will recognize objects like the menu, like the shopping cart, like the search button, using their native properties in the code. And that's where the problem starts. And I'll show you with the help of a demo as well that because of traditional object recognition technology and because how frequently we are changing the applications, automation keeps breaking. And that's where we are incurring a lot of maintenance. So instead, can we view these objects just like a human does, right? Which is bringing in computer vision technology, which means we have to train the AI engine with the different objects that can be on the screen. And then the neural network processes it and interacts with these objects by making a decision that, oh, this looks like a shopping cart. This looks like an icon for payments. This looks like an icon for home, or this looks like an icon for menu, right? So the AI is already trained and it can act on these objects. And we take it a step further by then bringing natural language or plain English, which can be utilized by our model-based testing for end user testing or user acceptance testing, where non-technical testers, remember the skill set challenge? Even non-technical end users, today I have people in my customer service department who understand my application very well. When they are involved in testing, right, it's not their day job, but we want to enable them with automation. They should be able to work on the model of the application that they're testing and then use a natural language in English, have a script that can do the testing for them. So this is where this AI capability is playing actually a disrupting role in the whole automation industry. Let me just focus a little bit on model-based testing. I said I wanted to give you this as a preview. This is a product that we are launching in early February, where you can start building your models of the process. For example, you want to make a payment. Now that payment could go through many different ways into your application. And the model-based testing approach will identify the different paths for that end-to-end shopping process by identifying those different payment methods at different parts of the flow, and then convert those paths into tests. And these are automated tests because underneath, an automation engineer has already created the different units for automation. And this path will just stitch together those units. And then you can execute those tests and look at the test results of the runs in the test management platform, ALM Octane, that I was talking about. And I'll show you a small demo on this as well. So let me just switch gears here and go to my ALM Octane's solution before I get further into the demo of the AI capabilities of the product itself. So ALM Octane, as I said, is our test management solution. We keep all the test cases. We manage all the test runs for all the test cases in this platform. So for a particular test, I can go and look at the details, which stage it is in, what are the steps of this test case. I can even look at the traceability I was talking about, right? So this test case has relationships to, it can be linked to an automated test. It has already been executed 6 times. There were 2 runs that failed, 2 runs that passed, and 2 runs which may not be executed yet, but are in progress or planned. So going back to this traceability, let's also review what are the different features that it is covering. So you get test coverage also by virtue of this traceability. And if I want to look at the runs, you can see the different runs of this test case or associated tests of this test case as part of the run. And the whole idea is that because you're managing all automated and manual testing activities through ALM Octane, you can start getting real-time metrics of defects, of test runs, of coverage of your different application modules. What is the progress of adding test cases to the different modules and increasing test coverage over a period of time? What are the different test tools through which we are running? And here you can see the different modules of the application I'm testing. You can also see the risk associated. So it looks like my online store has risk. And when I look at this risk, I can actually find out that maybe it is suffering from low automated test coverage. So this is the quality module of ALM Octane. In the pipeline module is where I start managing my entire automation effort. Now, these are CI/CD pipelines that might be running in my Jenkins or Azure DevOps CI tool, but the different test cases that I'm running through the pipeline are also visible to me in the ALM Octane interface. I can see all the test runs across the different builds of my pipeline, and these are 3 different pipelines that I am managing here. You can see that we also have a requirements module, so you can do a full SDLC management here. You have the complete backlog management where you can manage all the features and backlog items. And then in the team backlog is where you have the storyboard. You can look at a storyboard of the features that are being built in different stages of done. You can do a drag and drop of your features. You have a nice filtering here. And pretty much in every context, you can see that there is a dashboard that provides you some of the KPIs that you need to monitor. In fact, if I take you to the to the overall dashboard, you can see that there are almost 50 plus widgets that have already been defined for different activities like test burn down, traceability, defect injection rates. And you can see some of them are analytics data as well. For example, I can do DevOps analytics with respect to, is my feature cycle time across releases improving or not? Is my defect resolution rates over a period of time improving or not? So a complete consolidation of your metrics is what is going to make this visibility in line with the requirements of today's SDLC today. So for evolution to this agile and DevOps world of quality, you need these real-time metrics, which will come from managing all the quality effort in one place. A quick word on model-based testing, as I said. So if now you want to start doing automation around your end users testing or the UAT, you can create these models. And then if you look at a typical model, you can just add units and create a flow of the different activities that will be part of this model. And then model-based testing will just churn out the different paths that you could traverse for this particular model. And these different paths basically become the different test cases. So I can just select the top 3 or 5 paths that I want to test on. And when I convert them to test cases, actually 2 are already converted. So when you just convert them to test cases, it will automatically generate these test cases from underlying code that has already been stored. And you will see that these test cases get added to Octane. And then you can build traceability back to your features. These are just treated as any other test. I want to make sure that this test case is covering a particular feature that I'm building. You can add that traceability to that model, to that test case, and then you can start viewing this test coverage in your dashboard. So I think a very, very comprehensive way to manage all the efforts around quality, including automation, manual testing, model-based testing in a single platform. Now, moving on, I want to spend a few minutes talking about the AI capability because that is also very, very important. Now, this example, again, I'm showing you that same application for buying electronics on a mobile app. And I'm not going to run this particular video, but just assume that this application is running fine. So I'm able to log in. But what happens once sorry about this rendering here, but this shows that we have made some small change to my application. And based on that, my script is now going to fail because I switched the shopping cart from the right side to the left side. And now, because the identifier has changed in the code, this object is no longer visible to the automated script in the traditional sense of the way. And that's why this script has failed. You can see that this test case has failed. So what do we do? So this is where we are saying that instead of recognizing objects by their properties, we want to do a visual recognition just like a human eye does. So human eye recognizes that this is a search, this is a login button, this is a home button, etc. And based on that, we will be creating a test case which will recognize objects by their visual characteristics and not by the code. So in this example, you will see the first couple of seconds is actually creating automation based on a UI mockup. Now this is not, so let me take a pause here. This screen is just an image of your application. So assume your application is not ready, but you have UI mockups. You can actually start building automated tests based on these UI mockups. You can see that AI is recognizing a search button, it's recognizing an arrow, it's recognizing a shopping cart. So for the last 3 years, we've been training our AI model with various images, and it's become very, very intelligent now, I can say. And you can see that this is recognition based on visual element. Later on, we will also see, so now you can see it recognizes a username field, password field, login. Now, what if this login change to sign in? It will still recognize it because it has been trained to recognize the different login buttons. Now, once the application is available, you can actually go ahead and do the recording of the application. Now, these are text-based recognition. Instead of visual, the magenta ones are visual, the purple ones are the text-based recognition. So there we are going by OCR recognition. So again, we are not saving anything in a repository or an object repository, so-called object repository, because we are completely using the AI to recognize these objects. So when your application build changes, which means the code changes, even then you don't have to change XPath, you don't have to change object properties because AI is robust enough. And now once we have built this script, we can go ahead and execute this test. The good thing is that this same test case can be executed on multiple platforms. So this also increases the speed at which I build test cases and execute them. Because now you can see that I'm going to run in Chrome browser with French language, I'm going to run on Firefox with English, and I'm also going to run the same script on a mobile device. So this is running on Chrome with French. And you can see that it can go to the search button, it can search for a laptop, it can add it to the cart, do a checkout, and now it is running the same script on a mobile device. And this is where I think the magic is happening, because visually the characteristics of the profile, the home button, the username field, it's same on the desktop as well as on the mobile app. And now we are running the third iteration of this test, which is on Firefox in the English language, right? So this is how fast you can go in building your test script, because now you don't have to build a separate script for iOS, separate script for Android, a separate script for Chrome or Firefox or different languages. Basically, by leveraging AI, we have brought down the test script development time to 1/4. And we have also With model-based testing, we've discussed earlier, we can bring down the whole test design time as well. Okay. And once you have executed the test, we have a very rich report. So you can look at a test report where you can look at each and every step. So last screen, I showed you the 3 different runs on Chrome, on Firefox, and on the iOS device. You can see each and every step that we did, including the screenshot, including the highlight of the object that we clicked on. If there was a verification to be done, we had that on the screen as well. So I think this is what I wanted to show you with respect to AI capabilities. I think it is revolutionizing the complete domain of automated testing. And that's where UFT1 and UFT developer is. I think somebody's annotating on the screen, if I may ask you not to do that. All right, let me see how to get rid of it. Okay. Oops. Moving on to the third topic, which is performance engineering. Here we have a load runner, the load runner family of solutions, which are designed to help you engineer performance in the application lifecycle, starting with the development stage itself. So we have 4 different flavors of the product. We have load runner professional, which is a point solution used for a project team. But if you want to set up a platform for the entire enterprise where different project teams can use the same infrastructure, licenses, tools, then you have to either use the load runner enterprise platform, which is for on-prem, or the load runner cloud platform where we host this platform in the cloud. There is also a developer edition, which is free for every developer in the organization, where they can use the load runner capabilities from within their IDE to test up to 50 users. Now, as you can see, the comprehensive nature of this solution set enables organizations to balance and prioritize responsibilities across the different stakeholders. All these solutions integrate with your CI/CD and DevOps toolchains and processes. You can even integrate with application monitoring solutions like popular solutions like Dynatrace or AppDynamics that you might be using for monitoring application performance in your environment. A lot of these solutions are integrated out of the box with products like Dynatrace and AppDynamics. And just to give you a sense of the the current evolution of performance engineering, we are looking at shift left for sure. So where people want to start working within their IDE to build automation assets or even performance test assets, share them in a GitHub repository. And then talking about automation assets, if you're building automation tests in Selenium or UFT developer using NUnit, JUnit framework, even those can be utilized for testing with load runner to do some sanity kind of performance test. Integrate these tests with your CI/CD pipeline. So most of the tool chains like Jenkins, Bamboo, AWS code pipelines, Azure DevOps are supported. I already talked about the monitoring solutions like AppDynamics and Dynatrace, New Relic that you can integrate it with application for performance. And then if you're doing on-prem testing, again, you want to integrate it with your Kubernetes environment so that you can scale up load generators on the fly using containers. Or you could just leverage the cloud with our cloud solution with Load Runner Cloud using the AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud platforms, the public cloud infrastructure on which we can ride. And we are already supporting AWS Mumbai location for our Load Runner Cloud solution. And then to close the loop, you want to fine tune and then use the production data maybe coming from Web Trends and Google Analytics, et cetera, to integrate back into performance engineering. So Load Runner is, I think, a very well-known brand in the market by itself, and it's been the leader in the market again for 2 decades. And with Load Runner Cloud, I think the whole evolution that we are talking about, moving to cloud, cloud-based testing for cloud-native applications or even on-prem applications, I think Load Runner Cloud is a quick and easy way to not just spin up your load testing, but also lower the cost of load testing because it is on demand and in a flexible model. Wrapping up with security, I think this is again a very important topic and very much talked about these days, especially with the pandemic, with the move to the cloud. I think every organization has not just focus on DevOps, but now the focus is on DevSecOps. So Fortify again is a leader in the market. It has the static and dynamic. I'm on this slide, I'm talking about the static analysis solution. It's one of the most comprehensive static analysis solutions covering more than 25 programming languages and 770 plus categories of vulnerabilities. It is very accurate. I think a lot of challenge that people face in security testing is the false positives. So it dramatically reduces false positives in security analysis. It will integrate with not just your IDEs, but also the CI/CD toolchain. It comes with APIs. You can integrate with GitHub, and then it scales horizontally with an on-prem or as well with a cloud solution using Fortify on demand. And then my last slide is really about the dynamic application security testing, or DAST, which is again part of the Fortify family. The product is called Web Inspect. If you're using it on-prem or if you are using it in the cloud, it's Fortify on demand. Again, comprehensive in nature, one of the most accurate scanner, provides you the least amounts of false positives. And with that Fortify on demand offering in the cloud, you also get consulting services from Micro Focus. It saves time with automation because you can integrate it with your SDLC, with your CI/CD flows. Comes inbuilt with a lot of compliance packs. Talk about PCI, OWASP, HIPAA. All those compliance policies are already inbuilt into the tool. So when you run your scan, you can actually get a compliance report, whether you're complying to these standards or not. Manage the enterprise application security risk using the reporting, the remediation, and the complete management framework that comes with the scanner. You will be able to optimize the scan results. And then, as I said, this is available on-prem as well as a service, or you can consume it in a hybrid mode. So just to wrap up, we talked about the 4 different solution sets that help you evolve your quality practices. We talked about the continuous quality management framework, which is ALM Octane. Then we talked about the UFT family for functional test automation, where we focused on AI, but we also have the mobile testing capability. We have the API testing capability. We have, of course, now coming up with model-based testing. Then we talked about load runner with the on-prem and the cloud-based solution. And finally, we wrapped it up with the security testing solutions, which is the Fortify family of solutions. So I think, this is a lot of information that we've shared today. So I want to stop at this point, and we would want to utilize the remaining time to see if there are any questions. And if you would, have any further comments, Mohan and Sujatha, from your end, the floor is open.
Thank you, Manish. It was a very, very insightful session. And I'm sure the participants would have gained immensely hearing you talk about the features and functions. And I believe everyone is looking forward to the model-based testing and the features coming out in February. So there are a few questions, Manish, that has come up in the chat window. Mm-hmm. Maybe I will direct them to you and Sujatha.
Sure.
Right. So one of the question is, how does ALM Octane, how is it different to QC?
Okay, yeah, I think this is a good question, because I think for people who have been in the industry for a very long time would relate to Quality Center or ALM in its previous avatar, which is what I would say was designed for the traditional model of delivery, which is more waterfall or iterative in nature, hybrid iterative. So for those kind of organizations, and we have a lot of enterprise customers who adopted ALM, 8 years, 10 years, 15 years back. ALM Octane is actually a brand new offering. It's been in the market for about 6-7 years now, and it was built grounds up to support the modern needs of application delivery, which are typically around the agile, continuous delivery, CI/CD, DevOps kind of frameworks. And as I showed in the demo, it is actually catering to the full life cycle approach of the application life cycle in the modern delivery cadence. So that is one of the big differences. While I should mention that we continue to support the traditional product ALM Quality Center as well, because a lot of customers have not switched to a DevOps delivery model yet, are still in a semi-traditional model of delivery, and more so because of the nature of their applications, maybe, which are very, very, I would say, complex applications which do not follow agile delivery. Maybe on a core banking system, you cannot do monthly releases, right? So there are still those traditional deliveries that we have in the marketplace, and we continue to support Quality Center as well.
Thank you, Manish. And I request all the participants, if you have any questions, please do feel free to type up in the chat window, or if you raise your hand, our coordinator will unmute you so that you can ask your questions directly. So the second question, maybe a bit of broader one, Sujatha, maybe if you can provide a response. How do you measure the success of QA in any digital transformation initiatives?
Yes.
What are the metrics? How do you measure the success of this initiative QA process?
Yeah. So this is a very interesting question, right? We have seen so much of frameworks, tools, and platforms across, and measuring the quality. So one of the important factor here in digital transformation is that, again, Net Promoter Score and then customer satisfaction index, right? These two becomes a very important parameter in terms of measuring how the quality assurance has functioned, right, in the entire value chain. Apart from that, application performance index, right? This is a very important metric that we track, and time to market. Of course, these three are key matrices that help in measuring the quality. In addition to that, yes, automation coverage, right? Downtimes in terms of the system application, and also pretty much these are all the very key matrices, KPIs that will help in measuring the quality assurance function, actually.
Thanks, Sujatha. Manish, you touched about security testing. One of the questions that has come up is, does this product take into account the latest vulnerabilities as defined by OWASP, the Open Web Application?
Yeah, of course. I think to stay ahead of the market, being a leader in the market, the onus is on us to stay ahead of these vulnerabilities. And I think as soon as these are published or discovered, we have to bake them into the product, because that's how customers are going to benefit from it. So yes, we are putting the most amount of due diligence in keeping up with all these vulnerabilities that keep coming up from time to time.
Great. One other question from the customer participant in performance testing. We are using JMeter for performance testing. Can we use JMeter scripts in LoadRunner? Can it be leveraged in LoadRunner?
Yeah, so we realized that this shift left movement actually encouraged a lot of developers in organizations to start leveraging some open source tools. And while we have the LoadRunner developer option for them, which is also free, like JMeter, they can use it on their development environments up to 50 users. Same problem with JMeter, right? How do you scale? So there are two parts to the answer I want to give here. That if you already have JMeter scripts, you can actually use those scripts in our LoadRunner cloud. So when you want to scale your tests for JMeter scripts that you might have already built in the dev environment, you can just use your existing JMeter, even Gatling scripts, to execute in our LoadRunner cloud and get the analytics done, get the metrics, understand performance, and of course, leverage the infrastructure in the cloud. But I just wanted to highlight here that LoadRunner developer is an option available. Because if your performance engineering teams are today using LoadRunner or plan to use LoadRunner, the assets that you build with LoadRunner developer in your dev environment, those same assets can be used by the LoadRunner enterprise or the LoadRunner professional teams, because those scripts are common in nature. So there is this great handshake that can happen, a great example of collaboration rather between the development team and the performance engineering team in the organization, where you can leverage a combination of load runner developer and load runner cloud.
Great. Okay. There are quite a few participants asking where do we read up on all these features and functions? I think we should be happy to share some link or send some reading materials.
Yes, I think there's also a question on presentation. Can it be available? Yes, we will send the presentation in a PDF format. And
Sure.
only I think if we are able to capture their email IDs, that will be great, because I think still a lot of participants appear with their incorrect names. I think because of the link that we sent
we
out.
have shared. Yes.
Yeah, so I think if people can share their email IDs, or I don't know, Mohan, if you guys have a way to track the participants, we can certainly send out the presentation.
Yeah. Yeah, easier would be whoever has typed that question, if we can share the email ID in the chat window, we'll be sending across the reading material.
Yeah. No, we would like to share the presentation with all the participants. So I think if you can share your email IDs with the marketing team here, with Shipra, I think that'll help.
Right. One more question to you, Manish. We are using Jira for user story management and defect management. Mm-hmm. How does ALM Octane help here?
Yeah, so I briefly touched on that during the presentation, but that is a very valid concern. We get it from every customer that we speak to, because they're using Jira for issue management. Some of them are using it for doing agile planning as well. So ALM Octane has a synchronization with Jira. We have a component called Micro Focus Conneqt. So Micro Focus Conneqt core is a connector that will synchronize items between Jira and Octane. So if you have your user stories, your backlog items in Jira, then you want to build traceability to the test cases. So we also have a Octane plugin that can be installed in Jira, so that the developer who's working on the backlog item in Jira can actually see within the Jira interface how many test cases are actually covering that backlog item. On the Octane side, we can sync up all the user stories, backlog items into Octane, so that you can see, as a tester in Octane, you can see the traceability to the user stories. Also, if you are committing code to Bitbucket, you can build that traceability as well in Octane. And if you are doing your builds in Bamboo using their CI/CD, even those are, I think I mentioned in the presentation, we have a integration with Bamboo as well. So very, very comprehensive integration. And one thing also to add is that as a tester, when you will be opening defects in Octane, those defects will also sync back to Jira, so that the developer who's working on the defect stays in Jira, does not have to come to Octane. So this bidirectional synchronization of entities makes it transparent to the entire organization, what everybody is working on, what is the kind of coverage we have, and what is the status of quality.
Great. Thank you, Manish. I think we're almost time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate a very active participation and a great session from you, and also colleagues from Micro Focus and also Sujatha. To all the participants, we are very eager to individually connect with you if you have any further questions, or you want us to share more details, spend time, we can have further one-on-one sessions with all of you. And as Manish pointed out, since many of you happen to click on a link with the incorrect login name credentials, would request you to share your email credentials with our marketing team. We can subsequently have conversations set up with you and your organization and talk about some of the things we discussed here today. So we'll be happy to do that, and looking forward to hearing from you how you see this session and whether it's relevant in your respective digital initiatives you're running in your organization, right? Yeah. So with having said that, I really appreciate and thank all my colleagues and my partner leadership team from Micro Focus for a wonderful webinar that we have hosted today.
And thank you, Mohan and Sujatha and everybody at Conneqt for organizing this. Really, it's been great partnering with you. And of course, I want to thank everybody in the audience who listened patiently to our webinar. So thank you for your time again today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you all. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you all. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.